Okay, today is November 23rd, 2017, and right now at 1 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, we have a temperature of 85 degrees. The relative humidity is varying between 18 and 22%. The dew point is 41 degrees, and we have a barometer reading of 30.10 inches, which is steady. The weather controllers have installed high pressure, as we talked about in the last video, that is winding all this moisture up and over into Northern California. A lot of this moisture is now dropping down as this ridge drops down slightly. We can see the pattern here. Towards the end of the day, we're going to see much heavier chemtrail spraying. If we go to the, let's take a look here at the, this is the East Pacific infrared map, and all that moisture that is streaming into California right now is originating from this area of weather right here. And also notice this area of thunderstorm activity right down here, this giant cell. Baja California right over here is about 1,000 miles long from the border all the way down to Cabo San Lucas. And notice the size of these two weather systems. We can see the blast patterns, the shock waves. Take a look at this shock wave right here moving out and against the slow westbound flow pattern right here. So we've got shock waves, we've got an icicle pattern, the blast pattern, all the way around that system. We can see that very easily. We have the color change, and also up here we see a blast pattern shooting out of the southeast corner of that system as well. So these both have the attention of the weather controllers, and as I say, all that moisture is originating, which is flowing into California from this right here. And the jets are spraying over the chemtrail mix. That is a desiccant chemical mix which caps the atmosphere. It lowers the relative humidity. And we can see that we should be having a lot of rain all through California. If you look at the Doppler map here real quick, we can see that Northern California is the only area getting a little bit of rain. And of course, those NEXRAD microwave transmitters are chopping up the precipitation pattern. So that's what's happening. We'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving today. Right here we see a dry mid and upper level low right here spinning counterclockwise. This is completely surrounded by a transmitter. There is no moisture allowed to flow into this vortex. And the reason for that is this will get wound into this flow pattern right here and into California. So we're going to see some high pressure intensify right here. Let's go to the big map and we can see what's happening right here. This is a mid and upper level low. If we go to the pressure maps here, we can see the 500 millibar map. This is where that low is located right here. And on the 300 millibar, it's right out here. And we have this tropical flow. Now this area is all surrounded by high pressure. That's not really indicated accurately here on the maps. Here's the surface map. We do see a high pressure zone right here, 1,016 millibar. We've got 1,023, it looks like, or 1,021 right here offshore of California. We've got a high over Colorado and Utah, which generated some Santa Ana offshore winds last evening, which was Wednesday evening. Okay, so we had a light Santa Ana winds, very warm, strange weather. These terrorists controlling our weather are responsible for that. And they are responsible for coordinating the chemtrail spraying activity. This is all a coordinated weather manipulation operation with Wall Street involved, trading weather derivatives on the over-the-counter markets and different financial instruments, hedge funds, and different things. So there's a motive and opportunity for money to be made on this scam. Okay, so looking at the water vapor map, we see the high pressure installed, which is going to block this latest round of moisture. We've got a weather system over Alaska dropping down, and we have this rain potential right here, which is all being stopped by the chemtrail spraying. So we've got low humidity in the between 18 and 22%. But yeah, look at this flow pattern here. So these people controlling our weather, they've got this down to a science. Here's the southwest infrared map. And as I say, as this day goes on, Thanksgiving Day, we're going to see a lot more spraying, because look at this flow pattern. We see a lot of depth. The color, we have some red and yellows, and all of that is flowing into California. So everybody's getting sprayed. Chemtrails are being sprayed, and these people, these pilots that are being paid a lot of money to do this, I don't think they know what they're doing. They're probably living on the Air Force bases with their families. They're isolated. They're probably busy with activities on the base. They don't watch the news. They don't watch these kind of channels on YouTube. So they're just very isolated. And I think that's a lot of the problem, is that the knowledge, they're just being told that they're patriotic if they just shut up and follow orders. And here we see this flow pattern right here, looking right into California. Here we see this is this area that is on the East Pacific water vapor loop. We can see that being blown apart. Blast patterns, the shock waves. We can see that icicle pattern right here, as that is superheated with microwave. Let's take a look again. We can see the pressure waves, shock wave moving out, and also right down here. There's a lot of evidence here that either laser or microwave is being used to superheat and disrupt the convective processes in these weather systems, and that's why we have a situation where these people are in complete control of our weather, and all this can be used for good, but instead it's being used for nefarious, bad purposes, to regulate the supply-demand ratio of food. You can't grow food if you don't have water in California and other food-growing states, and so you can control the supply-demand. You can create all sorts of governmental regulations, because we have a whole crop of inept and incompetent politicians in the California legislature that don't know what's going on. They can barely tie their shoes. All they know how to do is to enact more taxes and regulations. And so these kind of schemes go right over the heads of these politicians, particularly the ones in California who really aren't thinking. And Jerry Brown is at the top of that heap. He's a Jesuit-educated guy. He should have more sense than what he brings to the table. Here we see moisture field moving in. This is a tropical flow. This should be delivering inches of rain. Okay, so that's all we're going to talk about here right now. That's the end of the report. And there's no rain, unfortunately. Okay, that's it. We'll do another update later. Happy Thanksgiving.